Ron DeSantis doesn't want
Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate in Florida. And Andrew Tate getting to leave Romania, though.
Yeah.
Bad guys are winning all over the world. Romania wants to put his ass up. Well, he got too much money. Too much money. Hello and good morning. The siren call. Yeah. I was in a bad mood yesterday. I'm in a better mood today. 10K views cumulatively for my 2 streams yesterday. That's crazy. You're doing good. Kicking butt and taking names. Out there using your voice. That is one thing I kind of wish that people would take a little piece of your book. Like, there's a lot of people who really disagree with me. Go make a video about it, bro. Give me, like, put your ideas out there into the world and let other people chew on them other than me. You know what I mean? Like, you know, people are always very, like, downtrodden about the idea that it's hard for a single person with a single voice to be heard or to make any kind of a difference. But you've got this huge tool in front of you where you can garner an audience, you can garner a following. You'll have haters and detractors and trolls of your own. You know what I mean? And it's, I think a lot of people, you know, look at this type of thing and say, oh, that's just jerking off, it's just wasting your time. But, you know, my ideas have spread far beyond the boundaries of my life. My ideas and my thoughts have spread all over this planet as a result of this platform. I'm not saying it's like I'm the most popular guy in the world. I'm just saying that pretty much on every continent, there's a few people who listen to what I say, you know?
Even poor New Zealand that gets left off of a lot of maps. You got some New Zealanders.
I got some Zealanders, you know? I got a ping and a couple of pings on Madagascar. I got African people watching me. I got Chinese people watching me. I got Koreans and Europeans of all different stripes and Russians and Australians and, you know what I mean? The whole nine. My ideas, half-baked and stupid as they may be, have spread far beyond the boundaries of my life. India, yeah. And, you know, I think a lot of people, they look down on like content creation or vlogging or whatever you want to call the stupid shit that we do, right? But the truth of the matter is you know, it's the new public square. I say this all the time. It's you grab your soapbox, you stand on it in the public square with your bullhorn, and you see how many people gather around to listen. And maybe 2 or 3 of those people walk around with their minds changed, or at least a different idea. You know what I mean? Back on the horse. Nah, I never fell off a horse. Are you a philosopher? Everybody is a philosopher, or nobody is. I've always philosopher is not something that you can go to school for. A philosopher is somebody that has a unique philosophy about life. Maybe not even unique. They have a personal philosophy about life, and they're willing to share that philosophy. So I think everybody is a philosopher. If you get everybody in the right position, they'll give you advice on what they think you should do, how they think you should handle it, how they think that you should materially kind of like assimilate ideas or people's feedback. Like everybody's a philosopher, yeah.
I think with school, it's about learning what other prominent people have said.
Well, yeah, it's
and learning to argue.
learning what they've said and learning the different ways that you can interpret what they've said.
Yeah.
Learning what other people have said about them. It builds upon itself. Yeah, everybody's a philosopher. Personal philosophy based on what? Well, you're asking me for your personal philosophy. I don't know what it's based on. It's your philosophy, right?
People have different morals.
I guess so. Yeah.
Have you ever had that like moral exercise where it's like raise your hand if you'd steal, and then raise your hand if you'd steal to feed your family, and like those subtle differences?
Yeah. I think I did. I think I had like a professor do that in college in one of my psych classes. Just to show. Are you American? I am American. I'm one of the most American things you'll ever lay eyes on, to be honest with you. I'm one of the biggest patriots you'll ever fucking run across, and that's not a joke. I am the prototypical American. Absolutely. Hope your day is going well. It's going okay. Our philosophy's subjective? Yes, of course. But when you're talking about living a life as a bag of meat with a psychological construct running it, everything's kind of subjective. Did you vote for Trump or Harrison? Neither. Harrison Ford ran? If Harrison ran, I might have voted for him. What even is the prototypical American now? Well, there's this idea, there's an idea of what an American is based on the stereotype, right? Like a big 10-gallon hat, spitting tobacco everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, but I think the prototypical American is somebody that is just dissatisfied with power. I think that is, if there is an American center, that's it. No matter what you believe about what should be done about it, Americans are dissatisfied with power. We're never happy with people who stand above us and make decisions for us. That's what makes me American. And I have that coming out of my fucking ears and my eyeballs.
Like, we probably have the most leeway out of a lot of nations to criticize our own government.
It's one of the things that makes America great. And it is one of the exceptional things about America. I'm not a big American exceptionalist, but that is an exceptional thing about America, even amongst so-called Western societies. Our ability, like I can stay right now, I don't know how long, but as of right now, I can say whatever the fuck I want that isn't a death threat about anybody I want. Politician, oligarch, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And I exercise that, man. That's part and parcel of America. A rebellious spirit, yes. A dissatisfied, rebellious, anti-authoritarian spirit.
I mean, even the people that do lean towards authoritarianism, they often do it like a way that breaks the rules.
Sure.
Like they're being authoritarian, but they're also breaking the rules.
Right. You know, it's one of the things that I think had made America so powerful in the last century was this idea that because if you look at dissidents, right, in history, dissidents are some of the most colorful, artistic, intelligent people, right? And America is this place that, yeah, I'm not saying that, like, we have not cracked down on dissidents. We have a long history of it like every other goddamn country does. But there is something written into our foundational documentation that says you're allowed to be a fucking dissident. You're allowed to say what you feel. And that little tiny thing makes America exceptional amongst all other countries, because you really don't find that kind of freedom of speech anywhere else on the planet.
And you can say horrible, disgusting things, like
Horrible
as long
things.
as they're not threatening.
Now, I mean, there are mechanisms by which if you say horrible, disgusting things about a person, I could sue you for that. I could sue you for damages, but the bar for that is so fucking high that it's almost never reached, right?
You have to do just an outright lie that couldn't be interpreted as a joke
Not only
in
that,
any
but
way.
you have to prove that that lie has impinged your life and blah blah. It's the legal standard for getting in trouble for saying something mean about a person is so fucking high in this country in comparison to other countries. All right? And so that, to me, above all, is what makes an American an American. Like, we are a people who are we've spent so much time speaking truth to power that now we take it for granted. It's just part of us, right? You supplant yourself, take yourself to the UK, where a lot of people look at that as just kind of an adjacent society to ours. Everything works the same. No, go to the UK and say some shitty thing about somebody on the internet and have that person sue you and see how fucking far that gets you. You see what I mean? Only here are you afforded that opportunity to say what you believe and to say what you think. It also has to prove it's affected. Yeah, that's what I mean. It has to prove that they've done actual damage in your life, that it has affected your ability to support yourself. It's affected your ability to have friendships, relationships. It's affected your ability to live in the town. I mean, the bar is so fucking high for you to get any kind of damages from slander that there's just no point in doing it here, almost, right? I gotta be honest with you. There are probably like 3 dozen people that I could fucking sue into oblivion if I was an Englishman. Right? I gotta avail myself of 1,000,000 different legal apparatuses to punish people who have said horrible, mischaracterizing, untrue things about me. Right? It's part of the blowback, man. It's part of the blowback. They're allowed to. They're allowed here.
No, there is nothing stopping people from starting a lawsuit. It's just a matter of if it goes anywhere.
Well, yeah. I would never sue somebody for saying a mean thing about me on the internet because I know it would be a waste of my fucking money paying lawyers to pursue something that has a 99% chance of being thrown out of court. And that's, you know what I mean? That's a good thing. That's why America is the way that it is. That's why that spirit of dissidence that I talked about exists. You have the freedom of speech until it infringes on your pursuit of happiness. I mean, that's what people claim, right? In these defamation suits or these slander suits, right? People will claim that it has impeded it's psychologically traumatized me and impeded my ability to enjoy my life to have this person out there saying this lie about me over and over and over again. Find me some case law where that standard was proved. Find me some case law. It just doesn't work that way in America, all right? We err on the side of freedom when it comes to speech. And every other Western country errs on the side of protection when it comes to speech. That's what makes me an American. That's why I'm an American. That's why I will always be an American. I don't think I would work well in a country where I couldn't speak my fucking mind. And it's not like I spend every second of every day tearing down every powerful political person or whatever. I just like to know that I got that in my hip pocket whenever I want. And there's not a fucking thing they can do about it. You exercise it, you use it, or you lose it. Freedom of speech is important. It's important to me. I don't know how important it is globally or for human existence, but it's important to me. I was raised around people who said what the fuck they thought, whenever the fuck they thought it, and they didn't hesitate, and they didn't dither, and they didn't dicker around. They said what they thought. I was raised in that environment. I can't be anything else. You ask me to restrain my own fucking thoughts and stuff, I'll do that to a certain extent for social graces. I'm not like a total ogre. But if we're having a conversation about something, you better believe you're about to hear what I think about it. In toto. Lib? Fuck no, dude. You gotta be fucking backwards on that. Unless you I know a lot of right wingers just think lib means anybody on the left, but a liberal is a thing. People don't seem to understand that free speech applies in public and only the government attempts to control speech. Right.
Yeah, social media can censor you however the hell they want.
Right. Yeah. You're not allowed to just come into my house and scream at the top of your lungs and I can't stop you. There are limits to freedom of speech, reasonable limits, I believe. Right. Your freedom of speech stops at my front door. Well, I guess it doesn't stop, but my ability to take action against you because of your speech begins and ends at my front door. You come in here and say something I don't like, I'm going to tell you get the fuck out of my house. Right? I own a website, and your fucking Nazi propaganda bullshit is starting to get under my skin. I have every right to fucking... You're not allowed to come in my fucking website and say what... You know what I mean? So, people can curtail your free speech here. That's one of the problems of these, social media companies, honestly, is, their use of censorship kind of neuters the public space. Think about if Elon Musk had a button that he could hit anytime somebody in Speaker Square in New York said something that was off color that he didn't like, and that person just had duct tape put over their mouth and dragged away, right? It's not good, but that's the intersection of freedom of speech and commerce. Free speech has become commerce now. And we're starting to see what capitalism does to an ideal, right? Hold on, nah, maybe younger conservatives think liberal is a make-all, but conservatives like me in our 30s 100% understand the difference between a Democrat and a liberal or leftist. Okay, well, that's good. I'm glad you do. But you understand it's used as a catch-all a lot. It's used to mean not a conservative, right? And it kind of really misunderstands the complexity of belief. It would be like me saying, you said you're a conservative, so you're a MAGA. You're a MAGA conspiracy theorist QAnoner, right? It's there are a lot of these catch-alls get flung back and forth, and it's part of the problem, honestly. It's part of the problem of political engagement with average people, is that people come in with these presuppositions and shit, right? Elon basically bought a component of the public space. Yes, he did. I found that when you take political labels out of it, most people tend to agree on a lot. It's true. I mean, if you actually sit down and just talk about average concerns for average people, you don't find a wide gulf between what people think. It's double-edged. Social media can censor your speech, control what stays up, but that can make them subject to laws that cover publishers and not platforms, which can make them liable. Yeah, I mean, I think that those angles need to be explored, but I also am a person that sees what happens when, there's too much tolerance on one of these platforms, right? All you have to do is to go to one of these alternative platforms and see how much Nazi fucking horseshit is being proffered there, so. Which aspect of conservatism, aside from the MAGA movement, do you consider to be the most concerning? Well, for me, it's kind of like a neoconservative idea that America should be a font of democracy to the world, that we have some sort of duty to free people who are living under non-democratic systems and to be the liberation force. That kind of arch neoconservative idea is, I think, the most damaging idea. It's the thing I oppose most about modern conservatism. What do you believe is the right tack to take with actual Nazis? I just don't speak to them.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of them that they want to set off a thing so that they can get you back. Like you saw that on the other end with the Black Hebrew Israelites. They were just trying
Yeah. It's attacked, right? They're trying to provoke you into breaking the law, and then they'll sue your fucking ass off, right? That's their game, right? So most Nazis want you to get all freaked out. They want you to punch them. They want you to do something about it. So you can play into their game if you want. I would never abide a Nazi in my home. I would never abide a Nazi in my friend group or my personal acquaintances. I don't allow that sort of bullshit into my life. But at the extreme end of things, they've got the right to be wrong. You think it's worth it to try and have a calm conversation with them in furtherance of contact theory? Sure. I'm always willing to have a fucking conversation with a person about politics. I find it to be a really interesting thing to dig into a person's political beliefs and to have that kind of back and forth and that kind of adversarial conversation. I think it's, but good luck finding it.
Dinor.
What are you doing?
Did you spoofle someone?
You big hairy beast.
You're such a bully.
Why must you bully? Yeah, it's just there's kids running around playing, and I think Dinor spooked a little toddler. I think altruism does more harm than good. The idea that any one group of people should take care of the rest of the world is usually a pretense for conquest. Yes. Support the limit freedom of speech as a way to defend freedom of speech. Huh? Do you support tariffs? I stay out of the economy because I think the arguing about the rules of a casino is kind of pointless. Mm-hmm. The economy is a casino, and that's what I believe. So arguing about the rules at the craps table doesn't seem to be the way to go for me.
Well, I think the purpose of tariffs at this point is negotiating little carve-outs for your friends. Like, Apple's not worried because they know there's going to be an Apple carve-out put in eventually.
Say 3 words that summarize Kamala Harris. Drunk, unprepared, unlikable. How about that? I think those 3 pretty much sum it up. Zanned out cop. There you go. That's good. Seems like we can't escape the political football in the U.S. Yeah, well, I mean, it definitely plays into the hands of the powerful, right? To have us at each other's throats over hot button social issues and shit like that, while they run out the back door with all the money.
Like, I think your point is focusing on what they have in common shows what's really tearing the country apart.
Right. Well, that's contact theory.
Yeah.
It's like if we act, like I said, if I sat down with the most conservative fucking dude on the planet and we just had a conversation about the shit going on in our lives and the things going on around us, there's a good chance that we agree on more than we disagree, right? But you wouldn't know that from modern political interactions because people are directly to each other's throats now.
Well, like, to go back to, like, that moral exercise of, like, rephrasing it, a lot of things are just things worded in a misleading way that pushes people to one side or the other.
Oh yeah, word choice matters, language choice matters, tone matters, all of that shit. I mean, humans are complex psychological constructs. And you have to show a level of mutual respect to get any kind of impingement on anybody. That's just the way that the human mind works. If a person feels disrespected or disregarded, the chances that you're going to make any kind of impact on them is zero. Now, I'm also a fan of meeting disrespect with disrespect. If that's the way it's going to be, then that's the way it's going to be. But I try and extend that fucking goodwill, at least in the first moments of an interaction, to another person. And I'm willing to go there, right? I'm also willing to go fucking mean and angry.
Like, I think with, like, an example of, like, immigration, that just, it means different words to different people.
Well, yeah, but there's all kinds of portent over that.
Yeah.
And you finding out what is even that person's definition of immigration? Like when they say it, what are they talking about? Right? That can be elucidating because you'll find out that it's being used as a catch-all for a bunch of, interconnected but complex problems, and you might agree with them on a lot of those issues, right? Disagreement is great. I love a disagreement. I don't mind talking to somebody about things that I disagree about. I really don't. Disagreement doesn't have to mean we're at each other's throats.
We've disagreed on these streams before.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a person who's disagreed with quite a lot. I'm fine with it. I like that. It's just your disagreement shouldn't be a venue for disrespect. Right? Because I disagree, I disrespect. That's not good. I don't let that cycle happen around me. Right? And if you take it there, I'm willing to take it right back to you. Well, that's just how I am, though. Woke, yeah, that's another word. That's another one of them catch-all words.
That's so hard for them to actually nail down and define.
Oh, yeah. Ask any motherfucker that uses that word what it means, and you're going to get a weird answer that's probably unique to them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like an idea. Just a catch-all idea that means a person to the left of me. Cut the beard? Nah.
You don't grow it out more.
Yeah, it's going to keep growing.
It's gotten to the point where I think you evened it now, where it's all the same length now, pretty close.
It's still, it needs, I'm almost at the point where I'll trim back a little bit over here to equalize everything. Yeah. But yeah, it's coming back. It's coming back with a vengeance. Everything's as it should be.
I think it was a big step for you to take that chance, even if you ended up not liking it.
Yep. Ciao from Italy. Bro, wait a minute. You're an Italian and telling me to cut my beard? Bro, your culture and your people and your area of the world kind of invented the epic beard, bro.
You guys are some hairy motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I know. I got Italian family.
You guys and like just like look at all the old fucking Greek and Italian philosophers and look at dude, you guys had the burly beard down. Why do you hate the beard? TJ's beard is incredible. TJ's got a nice long wizardy beard.
But he might have a day. He's had that day many times in his life where he's like, I'm sick of it.
I'm gonna chop it off. It happens.
When's the last time that happened? Do you remember? Where he was sick of it?
It's been a while for TJ. TJ's had that long beard for a long time. But yeah, he would get so usually what would happen is this. TJ would get sick of the mustache.
Mm-hmm.
He would cut the mustache off and leave like an Amish beard, and it looked ridiculous. And so eventually TJ would just shave the whole fucking thing off. I think as long as he keeps that mustache intact, he's got a chance. He's got a fighting chance.
He just needs to take better care of his mustache so it doesn't frustrate him.
Yeah.
Get some mustache wax.
But every beard has its ups and its downs, you know what I mean? TJ's talked about his beard. He's got a very long beard, but it's wispy at length, right? It's not thick. It's just long. I've got a thick beard that doesn't get long. It goes... Every beard's got its own little piece of character about it, you see.
Same with your hair. He's got very different hair problems than you do.
Yeah, true.
You're just gonna go in, Mr. Grumpy Pants.
You're just setting off the whole neighborhood, too.
He's literally the old grumpy man on the porch.
No, he is.
Kids will be playing out front, and he'll be barking at them.
I know. He stands by the window looking for something to be offended by. And typically what he's offended by is somebody walking around in their own yard or on the street.
Kids playing.
And he has to let them know. He has to let them know that he's displeased with their mirth.
Frolicking.
Yeah, stop your frolicking and mirth. Dinor's an SJW. No.
He's a grumpy old man.
He's a grouchy old fuck sitting on the porch going, hey, get off my lawn, you little bastards. Well, you gotta sit in there, bud. Nobody wants to hear you sound off all day. You just been irascible about it. Thoughts on Gene Hackman's death, dude? It sounds weird. It has to be something like a poisoning, like
a gas leak or something.
Gas leak or a what are they? A carbon monoxide leak or something.
Accidental like
poisoning.
Yeah, it's like that can happen too. Like if you eat something.
Yeah, because it killed his whole. It's him, his wife, and their dog.
Yeah. Gas leak is probably a little more likely. And they said no suspected foul play, so that just plays into it more of like it was
an accidental.
Accident. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. Carbon monoxide poisoning is the likely culprit.
Especially in winter.
Yeah.
On the heater. Or maybe like a generator or something.
Yeah.
Running a generator inside, which you're not supposed to do.
Who knows?
What was that one movie? Was it, I know we watched a movie with Gene Hackman recently. I just can't quite place the name of it.
The Firm?
Yeah.
The one with, Tom Cruise, and he's the lawyer.
Yeah, but there was another one where he was like the sheriff.
Oh, yeah. We watched Unforgiven.
Yeah.
It was Curly Bill, or not Curly Bill. Was it Curly Bill? I think it is Curly Bill. Yeah. Yeah, we watched Unforgiven recently. Yeah, Gene Hackman's great. Sad that he's gone.
Oh, it says no sign of carbon monoxide leak. That's weird.
That is weird. So CO2 then, maybe?
It says Oscar winner Gene Hackman, wife, and her dog were dead for some time before they were discovered, but not a sign of a carbon monoxide leak.
Suicide pact?
I don't know what's going on. They were found in a bathroom next to a space heater.
Did they freeze to death?
Open prescription bottle and pills scattered.
Oh. So they fucking committed.
Why would the dog die in this situation?
They fed the dog pills too.
I don't know.
That's weird.
Yeah,
That's weird.
A mystery.
Got Gene Wilder and Gene Hackman confused. Yeah, no. Different Gene. Was the dog in the same room?
So there's 2 healthy dogs, so it was just the one dog. The medical examiners keeping their lips sealed on what they think is going on.
Well, there's gonna be a fucking investigation and shit, probably, because that's. I mean, I don't know about foul play, but like, what kind of accident was this? Did they electrocute? Maybe.
I don't know. It was the maintenance guy that discovered them.
So maybe they killed themselves, and then a dog came in and ate pills off the ground and died too. That's a weird one. Yeah, the gas leak theory would have been the one I would have said is probably the most likely, but
I mean, that can be subtle too.
it can be, but if they're saying no sign of it, and then there's other healthy animals in the house that weren't affected by whatever happened, there's pills all over the ground and everybody's stuffed into a bathroom, who the fuck knows, dude? Epstein list getting released today. I have a call. It is going to be one of the most redacted lists in history.
Mm-hmm.
Or the whole list ain't gonna get released.
Yeah, it's gonna be edited.
There's no way. There's no way. With the people that are implicated in those Epstein documents are some of the most powerful
Flight
fucking
logs,
people in the world. Donald Trump is all over that shit. They had 16 different personal numbers for Donald Trump. Ghislaine Maxwell did. 16 different ways. The Clintons. All over it. I mean, you're talking about, the British royal family. Who knows how many powerful politicians and captains of industry are all over this shit. Right?
Elon palled around with Ghislaine. There's that picture of
Elon was a good friend of Ghislaine Maxwell's. Definitely partied at a fucking Epstein party or 2 or 3. So his name's on the list. If they release the entire list. There's just no way. It's going to be a selective list of people who the Trump team want to character assassinate. That'll be what it is. The entire unredacted list is never going to see light of day. Gene Hackman and his wife are apparently in different rooms. Okay. You got me, bud.
I mean, it's tricky with like the drips and drabs that the press get hold of.
Mm-hmm.
There could be some misinformation circulating based on just rumors that they heard about people that were supposedly at the scene.
Yep. Noam Chomsky, I've heard his name thrown around. I've heard fucking Matt Groening is on the list. I've heard I mean there are just so many people that have pictures from these parties or pictures of them palling around with Epstein and shit. Hanks. Stephen Hawking, I know. And it's just like the implications of this are, I just find it impossible that these powerful people didn't know that Epstein was running this child sex ring. And if he was running that ring, who for? You know what I mean? It's just like the implications are really bad for anybody that exchanged money, time, and influence with that man. So the idea that they're going to release that whole fucking list, yeah, Noam Chomsky is on the list.
Oh, AG Pam Bondi said officials are finalizing redactions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're going to redact a lot of like victims' names probably, but yeah, redactions. Like I said, this is going to be one of the most redacted releases in government history. There are going to be endless speculations about redacted names. You're going to get an incomplete list, and the only people that are going to be blatantly listed on there are going to be people that Trump wants to character assassinate. His name will be redacted. Elon's name will be nowhere near there, right? Powerful business people. None of those names are going to show up. Dude, if Zuckerberg was at those parties, his name ain't going to be on there because he's hand in glove with Trump now. So, yeah, we'll see. It'll be Joe Biden if he was ever on one of the planes.
Or
Hunter Biden if he was ever on one of the planes. It'll probably be like some European heads of state. Maybe some state governors. The Clintons will be on there. Yeah, Bill will be on there for sure. What exactly is the list of flights? So the list, as I understand it, is a client list.
And flight logs.
And flight logs to support the client list, right? So this is a list of contacts and business clients of Jeffrey Epstein's with accompanying flight logs. That's what I understand it to be. So this is like, if they release anything today or tomorrow or whenever, it's going to be the most redacted fucking thing you've ever laid eyes on.
Maybe with the exception of some of the black site documents that were released. Maybe those are slightly more redacted.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being a little hyperbolic. They release some things where like everything is fucking redacted except for
like nouns
and
vowels.
But I mean, like, you're not going to get this like full list of clients of Jeffrey Epstein. That's what should be released. Let's see who was on the fucking list, and let's see what their involvement with Epstein was.
And then whatever their explanation is.
And let's hear their explanation.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Are you still moping, D?
Ready for tomorrow, Paul?
I don't think anyone can be ready.
Yeah, I got to get my head in the skibbity zone somehow. But I think I can do it. I think I'm going to have an easier time than the other two guys, honestly.
You've exposed yourself to more.
I think I've done more exposure to brain rot than they've done. So I think my tolerance is going to be higher. So we'll see, but we'll see though. I can't.
I haven't gone through the suggestions yet, so we'll see.
There's going to be some bad ones. I definitely think we should find some of these big channels that are churning it out, like that one that we definitely need to pull
another Troom,
another Troom, and then there's that one that
Lanky Box.
Lanky Box needs to be on there. We need to do like a little marathon of Lanky Box, I think.
And the classic Skibbity Toilet. You can't leave that out.
I mean, we got to watch some Skibbity Toilet.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, it wouldn't be brain rot without Skibbity Toilet. So, we're going to watch it. You know what I mean? Kale said he wants to watch it with me. He wants to watch me suffer. Oh, my God.
No.
Well,
there could be some bad brain rot.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, you know, it's all bad. You guys aren't going to survive. Well, that remains to be seen.
Yeah, you got to give me your shopping list at some point, what you think you'll need.
Oh, yeah. Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
A couple of 2 liters of Mountain Dew. And I need some things to do dip.
Yeah.
So I need some Twinkies.
Mm-hmm.
And some Doritos. I will do dip a Dorito. And that's I can't really think of anything else. What else could you do dip?
Yeah. Those little Debbie snack cakes, maybe?
Yeah, just get a selection of little do dippable items, you know what I mean? And I'll set them up over there. And we'll do some do dipping. I could do dip a slice of pizza. Yeah, we could get pizza tomorrow. You know what I mean? I don't know, actually.
I don't want to do dip the pizza.
Well, no, I don't know if I want to do dip anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I got to try it. You know what I mean? I got to get in the headspace somehow. We got to do dip the whole goddamn thing. Don't go too crazy, but some do and some dippables. Mm-hmm. I think that's it. Some good old classic do. Now the whole neighborhood is Borkin D.
I think he's turning away now.
How high will you be on a scale of 1 to 10?
That's the question too. Do you need to restock on your getting high implements?
Probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Probably wouldn't be a bad move.
You can't get drunk though. That's the one thing.
I know. I'm not allowed to get drunk. I'm on medication that makes me I can't get drunk. Boo-hoo. No drinking for Paul Ziegler. You guys do have to watch all of Skibbity Toilet? I don't think so, because that's like 6 hours right there, I think, of Skibbity Toilet alone.
I don't know, they're pretty short. Let's see what the
But there's like 90,000 episodes. Yeah, how long is the entirety of Skibbity Toilet? That's what we need to know. There's
3 months ago, it was 1 through 77.
Yeah.
Was 2 hours. So yeah,
that's
it's compounded since the last time.
That's too long. It's 2 straight hours. That's too much. It's too much Skibbity Toilet. Bill Gates all over the Epstein list. I mean, yeah. There's definitely gonna, like I said, the names that are unredacted on there are gonna be people that Donald Trump wants to hit peace against, for sure.
So 1 through 77. I see one clip that's 35 minutes. Do you think that's about the max you'd want to do?
Man, Yeah. Yo, Paul, this is Jimmy. When you was at my house yesterday, a pack of cigarettes and a meth pipe came up missing. Did you take it? Oh, bro. Nah, man. It wasn't me, man. I wouldn't do that, man. You ready for the list? Yeah. The list. Let's get it. Let's get the list.
I feel like we should start at the beginning. Maybe that's the tact.
What do you mean?
Like start with the oldest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe so. I don't know. I don't know how we do it. Didn't you talk to Destiny one time? I talked to Destiny a bunch of times. 4 or 5, 6, something like that. You watch the beginning of Skibbity Toilet, then skip most of the recent to see how things have changed. We could do that. If there's any drug I would guess you take besides weed, even without knowing you, I'd guess mushrooms or LSD. You'd guess correct. You would guess correctly. Crack. Yeah, no crack. No crack for me, thanks. I'll pass on the crack. Pretty much pass on most party drugs, honestly. I did a little dabbling in my teens and early 20s. LSD is anything like acid? LSD is acid. How big will Biden's presidential library be? Probably big and giant and horrifying and ostentatious. They usually are. Gotta preserve the legacy of old Joe. Haven't tried X because I know I love it too much. I haven't tried ecstasy or MDMA, Molly, that sort of thing, because I watched other people take it and I was like, I don't really want to take that. It doesn't look like it's fun. I think it's important for people to get that stuff out of their systems in their 20s. No. I just think that it's like common for people to get that out of their systems in their teens and 20s. To be honest with you, like, I did more unadvisable shit on the younger end of that scale than as I got up, with the exception of one. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't think it's important to get it. Some people don't have that in their system to begin with. Like, they just.
Like, I'm pretty vanilla compared to you with what drug I've done.
Well, I mean, you're just not looking for that. It's not something that I feel like you're seeking or wanting to experiment with. Such a sad boy. Such a sad boy. How much acid is too much? Oof. Yeah, I don't know. I've never explored like the super high dose acid shit. I've dropped acid quite a few times, but I always take a pretty reasonably small dose. Some Gen Z or Alpha slang, no cap. means no lie. And if you say somebody is capping, that means they're lying. Okay, that's one. What else do I know? Riz is just like they shortened charisma to Riz. So if you have Riz, that means you know how to talk to people and you make people laugh. You got a good sense of humor and such. If you get really good at Riz, you become the Rizzler. Yeah. I've done the ego death trip a couple of times. I've had the ego death happen. It's nice. What else? What else do I know? Gang, isn't that some Gen Z slang? On God, on squad. I don't know, man. I'm starting to run out. Cap is like fib, yeah. It's funny because cap and capping used to mean different things when I was a skibbity rizzler. Like we used to say cap and capping, but it just meant you were like, it's like roasting. So like I cap on you. You know what I mean? Or Paul capped on this guy, or Paul was capping on your mom the other day, or whatever the fuck. That meant like you were roasting somebody. And now it just means a whole different, you know, it's taken on its whole different thing. Whatever happened to Trill? Trill wasn't around for very long. Bitch, Trill. Bitch, so Trill. Trill wasn't around very long. It died with on fleek. Yeah. On fleek. Bust a cap. Yeah, well, yeah, and then that was a thing, too. I'm gonna pop a cap in your ass. A cap meaning the shell from a bullet that gets ejected after you shoot. Popping a cap means you put a bullet in somebody. Do boomers have any slangs? Boomers? I guess they do. I would have to see a list of it, though. I can't just summon it off the top of my head. But yeah, dude. Well, my parents are actual baby boomers. And so, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure they say a lot of stuff. Swell. Skedaddle. Groovy. Peachy keen. Happening. Far out. Yeah. The most. Oh, he's the most. G. Willikers. Easy peasy Japanesey. Oh, shit. Dee, get in. You ain't allowed out here. Somebody already singing the song of your people out here. Jive turkey. You're a jive turkey. I'm hip. That's one. I'm hip. It's hip to be square. Bum, 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 no, no, no. It's hip to be square. Bum, 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 no, no, no. Bow. It's a song about the joys of conformity. It's hip to be square. Bum, 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 no, no, no. Is that a raincoat? Yes. That's such a great movie. It's also such a misunderstood film, man. So many people watch that film and think that Patrick Bateman is like this symbol of masculinity and shit. When, if anything, he's a symbol of the fragility of that concept. He's like, people will post pictures of Patrick Bateman when they're trying to, like, intone that somebody's like a hard-nosed, hard-driving business guy. It's just like, man, how do you miss the point of a movie like that? Like, the movie basically spells it out in your face what it's about. It's about the psychopathy of being rich, right? Like, the movie spells it out. The whole Hal conversation he has with the fucking homeless guy with the dog. Get a job. Like, that was him taking the kind of corporate violence that exists in the real world onto the streets and personifying it, right? How did you interpret the ending? Well, the way I interpret the ending is this, right? There is ambiguity about which one of these corporate fucking monsters he even was. The point being, he's all of them, right? That's how I've always taken it. Like, he's done all of this horrible stuff, but it's unclear which one of these corporate blood-sucking monsters he even was. The defrayed responsibility at the end, right? Who's actually responsible for all the carnage? People took the wrong things from Fight Club. Well, that's part of the problem, right? Is like, I think Fight Club is a good one to bring up because it's too cool. Its message maybe suffers from being too cool. And people started to idealize the idea of Tyler Durden. Let's see Paul Allen's card. Lonely men regaining their manhood in modern society. Yeah. It's meant to be a cautionary tale. What will happen if the U.S. Army takes on the cartels? I don't know. Asking the wrong guy. Your head collapsed because there was nothing in it. Yeah, I was just a janitor at the Pentagon. I can tell you that there's a lot of IBS in the Pentagon. I can tell you that there's a lot of people that seem to have an irritated bowel because I spent a lot of time mopping up the toilies. Oh, damn it. I lost my cherry. Here, let's do this. The old cherry replacement therapy. There we go. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Lost my cherry. That's old stoner knowledge right there. Cherry right back in. You put the cherry right back in. Pick it up with your fingers. You're not gonna be holding it long enough for it to burn you. That's how it works. What's with these homies dissing my girl? Why do they why do they all have to front? Whatever happened to all these guys that made them so violent? Ooh, ooh, and you know I'm yours. Never put a cherry back in? Really? You never reinserted your cherry? We can't unpop a cherry. Damn. You able to light a joint with a joint? Probably, yeah. Probably be just fine with it. Whew. We had ourselves some good conversation going. And it just disappeared into the ether. What'd you do if you found a meteor? Save that shit. I wouldn't tell nobody about that shit. I'd have a secret meteor. I haven't smoked in a while. I'm going in the medical field this year, so I won't be able to after that. Damn. Well, that's good, Midnight Ghoul. Maybe you can be my personal physician or something. I need a doctor that'll tell me what's what. I need a doctor that'll tell me what's what. See any cool watches lately? Yeah. I'm always looking at cool watches. So went out on a Valentine's date. It was a little late because we were so busy for Valentine's. And then we got snowed in. So we did a late Valentine's Day date a while ago, last week. And in between our dinner and movie, we had some time, and we were just walking around, and there's this little gaming store. And I popped in there. I was looking at all their like paints and their brushes. And then I started looking at the Warhammer stuff. And then I looked at the gaming store's like little calendar, and they do like a Warhammer Kill Team thing. And Kill Team is like a smaller game, so you don't have to have a whole army. And I was thinking about like, maybe that would be the way to go. Paint up a kill team, you know, see if I like that. And so I'm actually considering the possibility. Yeah, it's like a tabletop gaming store. Like, well, they do Magic the Gathering, they do D&D and Pathfinder nights, but they have a big 40K night, where they have two 40K nights. They have a kill team night, and then they have a 40K night where they play like full sized 40K. So I was just browsing around in there, and it's this like really nice gaming store, and I was like, dude, this looks like an environment where I could just like chill and be hella fucking nerdy. And all I've got to do is just take the leap and like buy some paints, you know, buy a little kill team and paint them up. How is kill team different? I'm not the guy to ask. It's a smaller scale thing. So instead of like a big army, you're fielding like like specialists, you know what I mean? So it's a different game. Like the rules are different. I just started looking at it because I walked into that game store and saw that they had a big kill team night, and they sold a lot of kill teams, and they looked really cool. So it's like, yeah, it's a smaller game scale, right? Is how I would put it, kill team. Like, instead of fielding these huge giant armies against one another, you're fielding this small team of specialists against one another. Went inside one of those tabletop stores once. The smell was rank. Yeah, that's sounds like you went into a really crappy store. Painting figurines is dope. Did my whole D&D cruise figures for them. Had a lot of fun. Takes a while, especially if you want it to look nice. Well, that's my point, is like, I kind of want to do that. Like, I kind of want to just play around with it and have like a small group of minis that I try and make look good. And if I can do that, then maybe I'll move on to do some other stuff. Why did you stop doing dank D&D? The amount of work that I put in personally, and I'm not even like, the other guys put in work too, but as the dungeon master guy, right? So I was responsible for the whole experience. The amount of work that I put in on that versus the amount of interest that it garnered just didn't make sense. It's unfortunate because I had a really good time playing dank D&D. And it's not like something maybe we won't try in the future on a smaller scale. But, yeah. You know, I've actually been thinking about it. Maybe it's something that you guys will hear about soon. Some ways to integrate that style of gaming into our normal shows, I think would be really interesting. Like an ongoing, small scale, custom made RPG that episodically unfolds during the show, during a short segment on each show. Does that make sense? So this is what I've been kicking around in my brain anyway, because I really do think that was fun. I'm thinking about making a kind of accompanying RPG where the guys are both playing a character, right? And I am DMing the experience, or one of the other guys DMs it, but I don't know that they want that. And we could have other people kind of like sub in. I thought it would be really cool, not always, obviously, but to have Stevie pop in and be like a side character or recurring. You know what I mean? If I could craft an ongoing narrative that plays out behind the show in some way, where the guys have investments in their characters, right? Their characters are really, truly maybe even avatars of themselves, and there's some sort of meta game going on underneath the show. I think that would be really cool. So why did RuneScape blow up as much as a game? Because it was really accessible. So a lot of people don't know this, but RuneScape had a major competitor that was a way better game. I played that game, Ultima Online, but Ultima was the first game I remember that had a subscription fee. They wanted you to pay $5 a month back in the 90s to play this game, right? And a lot of people didn't buy into that. RuneScape came along, and it's a really stripped down graphically and otherwise version of Ultima Online. They really are similar if you look at the game systems. But it was browser based. A lot of people don't know that. RuneScape started as a Java browser based game that people would play through a browser. So that's why RuneScape became so popular, because it was accessible to everybody. Not everybody had a computer, and you needed a computer to play Ultima. And not everybody had parents that were willing to pay $5 a month for you to play a video game, right? It was free, right? Yeah, you could play it, people would play it at school and shit, yeah. So that's why it got so popular. That's why it stuck in people's brains. Well, I don't like RuneScape either, but that's just because I played the alternative and saw how much better it was. What do you think the downfall of WoW was? I don't know that it had a down. I mean, people are still playing that fucking thing, right? If it had a downfall from like when I found it to be an interesting game, it was just making it too accessible. Like they basically, like the last, and this has been years. A couple years ago, I don't even remember what expansion it was, I re-upped my WoW subscription for a month just to see what was what. And I honestly, at the end of a couple of play sessions, I was like, well, they've automated this. They've automated the experience. Like, it's hard to explain, but I feel like slowly but surely they took any kind of skill or conscientiousness out of playing the game, and it basically just plays itself now. It's at least that was my impression of it a couple of years ago. I imagine it's gone further down that road. The grinding in RuneScape. See, that's the thing, dude. There's a part of me, I like a grindy game. I don't mind grinding in a game. I don't. I like the idea of a game where your character progresses slowly, and the more time you put into that character, so we used to call that a skill-based system. So leveling up in a video game, right, is typically like you kill enough monsters, you get enough XP, you level up, you get to distribute some points, you get to pick a new skill, right? That's typically how people think about leveling up. Leveling up in Ultima and other skill-based RPGs is about using the skill. So I guess like Oblivion kind of had a skill-based system as well. The more you use a skill, the better you get at the skill and the more proficient you get with the skill. So in Ultima, that means you grab an axe, you go out, you hit a tree with it. You hit a tree with it 5 or 6 times, you get a log out of it. You do that a couple of times, you get a point in lumberjacking. So now you're getting more logs. Now you get 2, you know what I mean? Like, so it kind of like you have to grind it out. And I'm fine with that because I like that sense of like slow, steady progression. I'm fine with that. So I like a grindy game. I'm fine with it. Look, dude, it feels good to reach milestones in games like that, where it's like, I've just unlocked the ability to do this. That means I'm, a proficient miner now, and I can get better ore, and I have, I'm going to make more money. And the feedback loop is great when you grind out a skill. It is a beautiful day out here today. It really is. But yeah, no, I like that feedback loop. I really do. I've always enjoyed it. Grind is going to be Monster Hunter Wilds when it comes out this weekend. Oh, man. I am so back and forth on whether or not I want to get that game. Because I've been a Monster Hunter guy for a long time. Well, not as long as some people, but I played 3 Ultimate on the Wii U, and I fell in love. I actually bought the Wii U so I could play 3 Ultimate, and then I got 4 and 4 Ultimate, and I played Monster Hunter Rise or whatever the last 2 were. I played those, not to the like end game or whatever. I always burn out when it gets to that like end game, because it's just like and maybe that's okay, because it takes a while to get there, and it's always fun learning about the different monsters and upgrading your equipment. But I just don't, those types of games never lock in enough for me to where I want to spend the amount of time you have to spend to get really good and get to the super end game content. Was Diablo a predecessor to these online RPG games? It was one of many. Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about the most direct predecessor, like the progenitor, you'd have to look at like MUDs back in the late 80s, early 90s. Multi-user dungeon, or MUD, was a text-based, procedurally generated kind of maze/world that you could wander around in using text commands and interact with other players, attack other players, team up with other players, and work together to get farther along in the content and get better loot and stuff. So that was really the first games. But even, prior to those, you had tabletop experience, right? So if you really want to look at the progenitor of online RPGs, you've got to go all the way back to people sitting down, rolling dice, Settlers of Catan, pretending to be a character, fantasizing about a world and representing it with little minifigs and stuff like that, right? I'd never heard of a MUD. Most people haven't. Yeah, MUDs were they weren't like a very, because like you had to be kind of a computer dork to even get access to a MUD. MUDs were played through a system that was called BBS. It was a pre-open internet system, right? So before the internet being accessible to the average person, the way that you would have an internet-like experience is somebody would set up a BBS, or a bulletin board system. Basically, it was a number that they had that was exclusively for a machine that was hosting a single web page. So you would call a number, your computer would connect via an analog modem to that other machine, and then you would have access to what was essentially a single web page. And so it could be, could have games on it. It could be, could have pictures on it, like ASCII kind of pictures. could have, you know, any kind of thing, right? Typically like a local news section and this and that, right? And so MUDs were hosted on those machines. So there was a couple of local MUDs that I had access to through a couple of BBSs that my dad had access to, right? And so, yeah, but you had to really be like specifically into multiplayer gaming over distance. You know what I mean? And you had to have some specialized equipment. You had to have a computer. You had to have a modem. Like these were things that wouldn't become ubiquitous in homes for another fucking 20 years, right? I think game developing was way more fun back then. I don't know. I'm not a game developer. I have no fucking clue. I like playing Starcraft Brood War when it was online and people made the games like Cat and Mouse and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Starcraft was great. I played the shit out of Starcraft. I used to troll on Starcraft so hard, dude. My favorite thing to do, because people would, I know I've talked about this before, but let me go through it because it's my favorite shit. They used to do this thing called a comp stomp, where it was like they wanted to get you, like, so two players working against one computer. That was an insane, you know, so we're like teaming up on it. And you could farm like points doing that, right? So people would make these 2-player comp stomp. So what you do is you play it out. But see, StarCraft 1 had these alliance mechanics. So you could start in an alliance and then you could just decide at any point, like, yeah, we're not allies anymore, bro. So what you do is you build up this giant army, right? And they go like, all right, dude, let's go stomp the comp. And you're like, all right, buddy. And you get all your armies all intermingled and you kind of secretly place your army in a way that it's like puts his in a concave. And then you just hit the button that makes you not allies and his army evaporates. And then you go and kill him and take over his base. And you kill the computer on your own. And he gets nothing because he was eliminated from the game. That people used to rage because it takes some time. Once you're eliminated, you have to destroy every building before they're kicked out of the game. And so the dude would just rage in text. You're a fucking son of a bitch. Because it's like, you know, you're building up these big giant end-game armies. It's like 20 minutes of gameplay. Down the tubes. You get no points. You wasted 20. I wasted 20 minutes of your time and I'm going to get the points anyway. I did that. I can't tell you how many fucking times, dude. That was one of my favorite things to do because people would literally throw a shit fit. They would go ape shit, bro. And we're talking about before there were like really strictly enforced content standards. So we're talking straight death threats. Was that just, no, it was to, well, it was to boost, it was to get points on your account or whatever. So your account level went up. And it was to farm rage. Yeah, it was both. And I'm telling you, dude, people would lose their fucking minds, bro. Because you basically just snatched 20 minutes of their life. Or 30, you know, depending on when you fucking put the dagger in their back. You know, if you get real technical with it, you can take them all the way to like 40 minutes, almost destroy the computer, betray them, kill them out of the game, and then go destroy the last computer building, right? So you could really bleed them if you wanted. And it's like you just reached into their fucking soul and snatched 40 minutes of their life and went, I used to say shit like that in the chat. Because while they're raging, you can talk back in the chat. You know what I mean? I used to tell him, dude, I just snatched 20 minutes of your life, bro. You're a fucking piece of shit. I'm a fucking piece of shit that just got 20 minutes of your life, bro. Schadenfreude. How come you and how come I enjoy that so much? There's a term for it for a reason. You ever got reported? Back in those days, yeah, there was really nothing people could do. Like what are they gonna do? I mean, yeah, BattleNet had like these. Now, I never got a fucking account banned off of BattleNet, and I did some wild shit on BattleNet servers, bro. Diablo 1, I was even worse. Like Diablo 1, I would strip people butt naked for fun, bro. So Diablo 1, people would start games, right? And I noticed there was a lot of noobs going like, help, please, need high level, help me beat Diablo, please, right? So it's like somebody's struggling with the game, right? And so I was like, I had a badass character, fucking, I was like, what do I do here? So I started creating these games like running noobs through Diablo, high level, given free runs, need help with Diablo, that type of thing. Need help with Diablo, high level here, join this game and I'll run you through, right? So I'd get people in the game. I'd get them all jazzed up. I would tell them, like so the way that, if you've never played Diablo, there's a spell called Town Portal. And you're down in a dungeon, you cast a portal spell, right? And it'll take you from that spot in the dungeon all the way into town, right? And then once you're in town, you can buy things, go back through the portal, and it takes you back down into the dungeon and closes both portals, right? Once you've made a full circuit. So what I would do is I would get these newbies in, and I would get them all built up. I'd be like, all right, we're gonna go take down Diablo. All right, it's super simple. I've got it all set up. You're gonna go through that portal right there, and I will meet you down. I'm gonna come right through afterwards, so it doesn't close. Because if I go through it, it'll just close. You got to go through first, and then I'll come through, and then we'll go right around the corner. You just stand around the corner. I'll beat Diablo. All right, man. Cool. Thanks, bro. And so the portal would be right in Diablo's lair, right? So it's a dirty TP. Yes. So it would be literally right in Diablo's lair with all the Doom Knights and Diablo. And they would go through, right? Instantly die. And because they died to a demon and not a player, they drop everything. They explode in a shower of everything on their corpse. Their greaves and their weapon and their amulet and everything goes. Bleh! Then I go down, I kill Diablo, clean up, and literally strip them butt naked. Everything that they've gotten up until that point is now mine. Yeah, Diablo 1's the one where I betrayed Waylon, stripped him butt naked a bunch of times. Yeah. No, that's that. I mean, you drop a dirty ass teepee. Yeah, drop a dirty ass teepee. Dude, I can't tell you how many people's dude, I gotta tell you, I have ruined more people's gaming experiences than probably the next 10 modern trolls. And I'm not even because there was no way to fight back against it. Like there was no account banning going on. It was just it was like the Wild West. So I gotta tell you, dude, it was free reign. There were no ops. So, and these systems were just ripe for just easy exploitation and stupid confidence scams. And I pulled them and pulled them and pulled them. I ruined more people's gaming experience. And when I say ruin their experience, I mean stripped them butt naked, took them of everything that they owned. It'd be like I showed up, I stole everything in their house, I dismantled the house and sold off the lumber, and then salted the earth and left. I'm capping. Dude, I'm not even joking, bro. I've told these stories a bunch of fucking times. Strip them butt naked in the game, bro. Butt naked. Leave them with zero. I take you back to day one in terms of your wealth, bro. I strip them butt naked. You used to be able to do that in games. They don't let you do that shit anymore. Now you guys are all protected. Now when you die, you go to the graveyard to get resurrected. That didn't happen back in the day. Back in the day, if you died, your ass got stripped butt naked. Butt naked, motherfucker. Nothing. Down to nothing. Down to your skivs. Down to your skivvies. Down all the way to your skivvies. I was a dirty fuck too. Like I was never really that good at PvP. So I would just I was like a vulture. So like in Ultima, how I made my bread was capitalizing on other people's misfortune, right? I would wait around for a motherfucker to die. And then I would come out of the shadows and pick him fucking clean to his skivvies and disappear. Mount up a horse and ride off into the sunset. You got proof of this? Dude, this is an Ultima Online in the 90s. There was no screen cap software. Sorry, buddy. Feed off the carrion like a scavenger. Yeah. It's ironic how opposite we are in video games versus real life. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. No, it is funny though. But like, it's true though. I looked at especially with Ultima. You can't really make excuses for Diablo and Starcraft. I was just being a dick. In Ultima, I was being a dick, but with a purpose. Now, Ultima was like, this is a simulated society. And a guy like me, it didn't take me long to figure out, like, well, fuck, there's con men and grifters in society. People got to deal with that. Okay. There's, like, methods in the game by which, like, thievery is a thing, sneaking is a thing, pickpocketing is a thing, you know? Okay, I'll just do that. Well, yeah, there were all these like anti-PK guys. So that the world of UO was separated at the end game was separated into two kinds of players. There were PKs and there were antis. PKs, player killers. Antis, people that kill player killers to punish the player killers and to protect people that don't kill players, right? Basically, Care Bears and real people. Do I still troll? For a living. Bro, there are 2 full-ass subreddits dedicated to hating me. I troll all day, all night. And I get paid to do it. Yeah, I still troll. A lot. Oh yeah. Or especially early on in WoW, you could gank, you could just steal them because like people had a shared stash or whatever. And if the person who owned the guild disbanded the guild, they could empty out the shared stash and then disband the guild. And so it's like you just steal everybody's like hard work basically. You have subreddits after you? I have 2 full-blown hate subreddits that dedicate their time to hating my guts. Yeah. I guess, yeah. I mean, I play video games. I'm not like a gaming content creator. R manatee, yeah, dude. R manatee. So do you game and stream on Twitch? Nope. I don't stream. I mean, I have streamed games, but that's not what I do. No, I don't do Twitch. I don't stream video games. Once in a fucking blue moon, I'll do like just to do like one of these, but I'm playing a video game while I do it. What subreddits? Okay, so there's Enough Paul's Ego Spam, and there's Okay Buddy Deep Fat Fried. Both of those are basically nothing but Paul, 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 Paul. Dude, one of them has devolved into arguing with other trolls, pretending to be me, like they are me. Go look it up. What do I do then? I have a show here on YouTube called Onion Nuggets. And, you know, the broader organization, Deep Fat Fried, right? Under the umbrella of Pessimist Productions. That's our big Patreon. So that's where we make most of our bread, is YouTube donations, memberships, and Patreon memberships. Yeah. Yeah, we you know, the most of the trolls and people, well, not trolls, but the people I'm talking about, people that hate me enough to make a subreddit about me and populate it with constant speculation and argue with ghosts, comes from my political leanings. Yeah. When I give my opinion on politics, it engenders a lot of misinterpretation and a lot of hurt feelings, I think. So that's, if you go and look at those places, that's what you'll see there. I don't know why I poison the oceans, Crafty. I do know why I set the sky on fire, though, because I thought it would look cool. You're a Trump supporter? Fuck no. That's what I'm talking about, man. No. I'm just a leftist that doesn't vote for Democrats because I don't see much difference between a Democrat and a Republican. That's what I get hate about. I'm a labor leftist. I'm a blue-collar labor advocate type of leftist. But I don't see an ally in Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. I didn't vote for Trump. I don't support the Republicans. Yeah, I'm an anti-uniparty guy. I've watched over my, lifetime, the Democrats race to the right on almost every issue that matters to me. I'm a staunch anti-war leftist. I've watched the Democrats just fucking ramp up war and become a war party. I'm a pro-immigration leftist. I think that America should have an easy, open border. And I think that we should have programs to help people integrate. Because I feel like that if the story of America is anything, it's a story of people immigrating to this place and enriching it. And I don't have a vote for that. I mean, like, fucking the last electoral cycle, the Republicans and Democrats were both doing a dick measuring contest to see who would be tougher on the border. It's like, you know what I mean? So that's why I get hate. You're that guy that talked to Destiny? Yeah. So you believe voting is a waste of time? No. I just don't waste my time doing it. Voting for me is a waste of time because of all of the things I just talked about. And a dozen more. I love that, like, this dude, Joey Boy, has been in here talking to me forever. And now he reveals that he's a Destinite. You're that guy who talked to Destiny, right? Why can't you just come correct? Just say, I'm a Destiny fan, and I disagree this, that, and the other thing. You're not going to, like, worm your way in. Well, just say what it is, dude. Yeah, that one guy who talked to Destiny, right? Is this the return of Willie? Yeah. What do I need to announce? I'm a Destiny fan? Well, because it's clear, like, if I go back through your shit, it's clear you're trying to spark a political... It's clear you're here because of Destiny. Right? Return of the Mac. Return of the Mac. And you know the pain. Nevermind or in utero. If we're talking like, if you want me to compare them to one another, in utero. If you want me to tell you what my favorite Nirvana album is, it's, well, I mean, it's not even a full album. It's like an EP or whatever. Incesticide is, I think, like, end to end, the greatest. I love the sound on Incesticide. I love that fucking album. Bleach would be next, then In Utero, then Nevermind. That doesn't mean Nevermind. I just think Nevermind was simplistic in comparison to those other things and overplayed quite a bit. It's not vanilla. It's just an opinion. So you looking forward to Ukraine surrendering? Yeah. Aren't you? Or are you willing to grind the rest of Ukraine into paste? Do you advocate for listening to the Ukrainian people who, for like a year now, have by plurality supported a swift end to the war? Or are you willing to defy those people's wishes? Because I'm willing to just go with it. I think the sooner it stops, the sooner Ukraine starts hemorrhaging its young, middle-aged, and now old people into the trench of death, the better off those people and their families and their descendants will be in the long run, yeah. Better alive than dead, right? You support Ukraine? Okay, cool. So then you also support a swift end to the war and cessation of hostilities. They're fighting for their freedom. 50% of them want the fighting to end. Well, 54%, give or take, want the fighting to end. Yep, Russia got to lose. Russia already has lost. You realize that over 1 million young people have taken a dirt nap in this? That's a loss. Russia's been drained. Ukraine will be bent over the fucking capitalistic sawhorse and used and abused for the next 200 years. And the people of Ukraine will shoulder the fucking burden of that forever. Good job. Good job. Hey, at least Russia took an L, though. 1 million people in the dirt. One country subjugated to Western capitalism forever. Another country already abusive of its fucking population throws 500,000 of them into the dirt. Yeah, at least Russia took a black eye on that, though, bro. Like, what kind of, like, how dehumanizing can your politics get? How little concern for the average human experience and human happiness do you have? And why? What happened to you? Who did this to you? That'd be the question I have. You know, one of the things that I've seen disappear over the months in Ukraine is one of the things that like pro-Ukraine war people used to come to me and say is like, we're not even giving these like weapons to Ukraine. We're warehousing old weapons. It actually helps us out because it lets us get rid of our old weapons. And it's like, you know what Lend-Lease is, right? Ukraine is monetarily responsible for every piece of equipment, every bomb, every drone, every piece of equipment, every piece of aid. We own, like, when I say we, America owns Ukraine for the next fucking 150, 200 fucking years plus. And you're starting to see it. You're starting to see it. Starting to see it take root and take shape. What do you mean America owns Ukraine? I mean, take a look at the mineral deal that was just made for U.S. exploitation of Ukrainian mineral assets. I'm saying that the true cost of American support in this war is now becoming apparent to Ukraine. Our corporations are going to own the wealth under their feet for the next 200 fucking years. And nobody is going to fart sideways in that country lest we say so for the next 200 years. That's what I mean. Hate how Trump is so focused on their minerals. It's not just Trump. If you think that originated with Trump, you're fucking blind. It's been about the minerals. It's been about the hegemony. It's been about having a fucking puppet border state with Russia. It's been about ownership and the transfer of such from Ukrainian hands into United States hands. And it's gone swimmingly. It's gone just as predicted. You'll find me on record years ago saying this same shit. And now it's taking place, and everybody's pretending that I was the bad guy for opposing this fucking conflict all the way back then. It's wild. A million people in the dirt, bro. You have to do a lot of fucking flag waving and rationalization to get to the end of that fucking train of dismembered bodies. You have to get real creative with a guy like me. Because I can't even fathom 1 million lives winked out of existence. Think about the children, the grandchildren, the accomplishments, the sorrows and sadnesses and peaks and valleys of those lives just being cut short over a land deal. People are going to be learning about this conflict. This is an absurdly destructive conflict. And for what? For Russia to get what it wanted in the first place anyway. Just with 1 million people dead and 2 economies in complete and utter shambles. You know, just that. Did you say your podcast was called Onion Nuggets with a Z at the end? Onion Nuggets. It's time for us to watch Onion Nuggets. You can also check out Deep Fat Fried. That's like another channel. Well, that's like the mother channel of it. So you can check that out as well. Yes, yes. Onion Nuggets. Onion Nuggets. You had the onion. Say something about it stuck in your brain. Why don't you condemn Russia? Watch this. Russia is an oligarchical, imperialistic shithole. And it should stop. And I condemn Russia. There you go. How's that? Oh, man. Hold up. Let me look. Onion Nuggets. Sorry. Had to check up on me a text message though. Meetings pushed back an hour today, so. Oh, sorry, baby. I'm sitting over here trying to hatch an egg with that lighter. Are your dogs adapting? I don't have dogs. I have a dog. And how's he adapting? A dino doesn't really adapt. He just exists in a new area. You know?
He's grumpy. He's always a little grumpy.
He's a grump. You didn't condemn Russia hard enough. You're a tanky. I mean, pretty much, I guess. It's just like, I oppose Russia and its invasion. I oppose the United States fanning the flames of that invasion and furthering that invasion. I support diplomacy and diplomatic measures that would have solved this conflict, probably with less land lost and not even probably, way less lives lost. Like, I'm for that. I don't care about sending a message to Russia that it can't do this in the future. We've already fucked that up. I'm for preserving those 1 million lives, and I have been since the very fucking beginning of this war. If you go back to the very beginning of the Ukraine conflict, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, I said that if this doesn't, this is just going to be a meat grinder of a war. And it's going to go on and on and on. And here we are. And there's hardly a fucking able-bodied person between 60 and 24 alive in Ukraine that hasn't been shipped out.
And he said, too, that the bill's going to come due from the U.S.
It's already coming due.
Yeah.
The mineral deals are being signed as we speak. American corporations are gearing up the industry to go and exploit all of the wealth from under the feet of these people to pay us back for all of... You remember when they were... like, because I brought this up earlier when you were inside. Remember when they were saying, like, we're not even giving them new weapons. Like, it actually helps us because we're just giving them old shit that we don't need anymore. And it's like, you think that's free? It's never free. And so now the bill is due, Ukraine is in rubble. The bill is due. And now Donald Trump has Ukraine bent over on one side and Putin has it bent over on the other side. And there's 1 million people dead in both of those countries. And there are some people that want to just keep that rolling indefinitely. I'm not one of them. You live in a fantasy world, so you've devolved to making fucking insults against me rather than contradicting what I'm saying with any kind of cogent argument. Didn't take long. I don't think a lot of these people ever extrapolate 1 million dead and what it means. I don't think they do. I think they because this is just a little game of Risk in their head. You know that fucking old board game Risk? That's what this is in their head. They've completely gamified and dehumanized war into an arguing, I pwned you debate lord game. Where it's like, oh, well, you know, you gotta fucking break a few eggs to get a little fucking, for Russia, give Russia a black eye. It's like, how did you get this way? Who fucked you up? I'm at work, just so you know. So you being at work makes you incapable of typing anything other than, you live in a fantasy world, bro. That don't mean shit to me, bro. So if your work precludes you from not typing like a drooling retard, then maybe you ought to just listen.
Or just work.
Yeah, or just work. You know, not to be pro-boss, but your boss would probably like you to get to fucking work then. I don't mind you posting at work, but don't post gibberish and drivel and debate lord tactics on me. You talk to me like a human being, or I'm gonna fucking, you're gonna find something else to do with your work time.
That's the weirdest debate tactic. Like, oh, I messed up, but I'm at work, so.
He didn't even mess up. He typed, you live in a fantasy world, and then when I called him out on not adding anything to the conversation we were trying to have, the excuse he gave was, I'm at work. It's like, fuck off. Go get to work then. Yeah, some people can handle doing both and not sound like gibbering idiots. You're not one of them. Are you getting the figure of 1 million dead from? Hostilities are ongoing. I'm saying that when the dust is settled on this conflict and the bodies are counted, and we're talking about people that died directly in the war, people that died from secondary causes in the war, right? Civilian and soldier, you're going to be looking at 1 million dead. What do you think about America asking for 50% of Ukraine's minerals in perpetuity? Business as usual. Mission successful. What?
It's this little flea pill.
Oh, Dee, come here.
I know you like snack and all.
Go get your flea pill. Get your treat. Get your flea pill. Get it munched. Get it crunched.
Forgot to give it to him with his brekkie.
Well, there you go. That's your flea pill. What does the president want in Canada? Well, this is a wild thing. But I'm like an open borders, tear down the fucking nationalism, and let's have a globalist kind of society type leftist at the ultimate end of my fucking hopes and dreams for humanity, right? And so I see the conglomeration of different opposing places as, you know, like a means to that end. I think that the world's problems as they exist can be traced back to how fractious the world is, right? It's like, take a look at like all the green initiatives that have happened in the United States. But when you look at the output of that, those green initiatives caused us to ship our plastics to China to be reworked into plastics that China then just throws in the ocean. So it's like it doubled the amount of plastic going in the ocean by trying to fight the amount of plastic in the ocean, right? And so I think that the world being so fractious doesn't allow us to react to these giant global existential crises, climate change being the number one of those, right? Or climate collapse, right? We're currently watching a fifth mass extinction event on the planet undergoing, right? We're talking ecosystem collapse. We're watching our planet die. And we can talk about how many emissions my car is allowed to poot out in the state that I live in. But if China has no emissions policy, and India has no emissions policy, and Russia has no emissions policy, then what's the fucking point? We live at a time where society has globalized, commerce has globalized, communication has globalized, but nationalism stays strong. And so our response to these problems need to be global, but we're still tittering around about what our country was called 1400 years ago because some duke claimed it or whatever the fuck, right? Like, to me, it doesn't make sense. One private jet flight is more emissions than this whole chat pulls in a month. You're probably right. In fact, you are likely right. Yep. No, I understand that there's not like a whole lot of action that you could take right now or even maybe within my lifetime towards that ultimate goal of us like just admitting that we're all brothers and sisters on this fucking planet and that we all go together or we all thrive together, right? I don't think that's a bad thing to hope for. And I don't think it's a bad thing to advocate for in your day-to-day fucking life because I think we need it desperately as human beings.
We can't even cooperate on asteroid defense.
No, I know. It's like, you know, as one of us stops polluting, another one redoubles polluting. You know what I mean? We can't live that way. As one of us modernizes and starts treating people equally, another one of us falls to a religious conservative movement. You know what I mean? We can't have this. You know, not in an age where nuclear weapons are in play, where the climate is collapsing around our ears. Like, we need to be together as brothers and sisters on this tiny little fucking planet, in this obscure spiral arm of a one fucking galaxy in a fucking enormous universe. Like, we are alone, naked and afraid here, and we need to embrace one another as brothers and sisters and stop slaughtering each other in worthless, pointless, nationalistic wars. We need to come together or we're going to fall apart. A house divided against itself cannot stand. That's right out of the Bible. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm like utterly supportive of Trump just annexing Canada. But I will tell you this. If it happens, I'm not going to weep tears for very long about it. I'm not going to weep and gnash my teeth about it. You know what I mean? It's not the biggest fear in my world. What's up, baby?
Oh, I was just gonna say that I'm preheating the oven to do some onion rings. We can do some burgers.
Ooh. That's what I'm talking about. Some Beyond Burgers. I'm a fan. Are they Beyond or are they
They're the Impossible.
Impossibles? Yeah, those are the ones I get.
Yeah.
I like them Impossibles. They truly are impossible.
Do you have extra time before your meeting?
Cool. Yeah, that's perfect. Canada, USA, Mexico, the cum block. Yeah. Canada, USA, Mexico, South America, the cums.
Yeah, let's just make it one America.
Yeah. Just America.
Yeah, every continent is its own nation, at least.
Yep. America. It's interesting that those old post-World War II plans show the U.S., Canada, and Greenland as one nation. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's time, homie. You going on 2 years of I was never a vegetarian, no. I'm a flexitarian. I eat way, 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 way less meat than I used to. And that's that, yeah. Comes, yeah. The Comes conference, dude. Comes and bricks. Let's just boil it down, dude. But we're taking the B out of bricks though, because we're taking comes. So they're gonna have to just be icks. See? That's what we do. Comes versus icks. Let's see who wins. I think you know who wins. Like you know who wins that fight. Yeah, dude, we're bricked up for comes. I ate 3 Son of Baconator mini burgers and 2 whole Baconator burgers right afterwards. Chicken nuggies, and I dipped my fries in the milkshake. Crushing life. That's copy pasta. But that is a very American copy pasta. I would say you are crushing life right now if you did that. But I don't think you did. I think you copy and pasted that.
Copy and pasted.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God, I'd throw up. Oh no, dude. Ashley E, are you one of those chicks that's like, I just simply can't eat? And then when you're alone, you're like, I know you're out there, dude. Oh, I could never eat 3 burgers. And then you're like, give me the pizza. No, I'm kidding. We must be using a very liberal definition of crushing life. Yeah. I mean, literally crushing life underneath your bulk. Yeah. Live in Alabama. What else have I got to lose? Amen. Amen. Yeah. I think the first thing we need to do is have a civil war in the United States.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's time for Civil War II, Electric Boogaloo. We've got to decide like who's in charge over here. You know what I mean? And then once we do that, we get rid of the states. No more states. It's just the U.S. of A. We stop this shit because it's too like even within these countries, it's all fractured. We can't have that. Yeah, dude. Because because elsewise we're doomed. It's come together or blow apart. Civil War situation is crazy. I think we're kind of like maybe heading that direction, bro. I kind of feel that way. I feel like it's coming. Will you be on the front lines? Why would they want my big fat old ass on the front lines? To do what? Bitch and moan about my back hurting? Yeah, dude. I'll be right there. What am I gonna do, bro? A reshuffling of the deck, yes. Well, now that we've committed sedition against the United States or whatever, no. I hope it doesn't come to like anything like a war. I'd say like an amicable split would be possible. Just like a, you know what, agree to disagree, y'all. You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna go eat hamburgers and croissants.